Yeah, no, I appreciate you getting the question out there to begin with, because if it involves anything with the FBI or the investigation, I'm not going to have any comment.
Bruce, how aware are you though of state laws regarding agents, and all the SEC states are in on it and have the updates? How important are those laws?
I don't know a lot about them. So, as a basketball coach, we pretty much focus on what we focus on. When you mention agents, what jumps out at me is you'd like to have good enough players to be able to actually need them. And I know over my history that there have been some great agents out there that have done a great job helping kids, whether they get them overseas, and have those kind of connections. I've really enjoyed a good relationship with a number of great professionals. I think the word agent sometimes gets a bad rap, because there are really good ones out there that really help those kids.
Coach, I think all of that came about. How did you talk to the team to kind of keep the focus on basketball in your guys' group?
Well, the first thing was, we were told that we can't really talk to the team about the investigation or about anything. So therefore, we brought the team together and we told them that. And so, if you guys have been around me, I like to talk. So we talk about everything else. And the timing with the start of basketball season was really good for all of us, because we're focused on practice and we're focused on getting our team better and working on things that we need to work on. And that's where and while the kids are busy in the off season, once you get in season and you start practicing 5 days a week, 3 or 4 weight training sessions, some film, and the class, they're busy. So they're really we're getting after it.
How's Chuck doing mentally?
We don't have contact. We're not able to have contact.
What would you say, Bruce, about, I think there's a general feeling out there, and your coaching colleagues have brought it up, that there's a crisis. They haven't used that word crisis, but there's a real problem that needs to be addressed.
I think that under normal circumstances, if we weren't a part of this ongoing investigation, you'd get a lot of comments from me about it. That's just who I always have been. But I think because we've got something that's ongoing right now, I just can't offer my thoughts or opinions, and I hope you understand that.
Have you decided what you're going to do with the players that were sort of alluded to in the documents? Obviously, we don't know who they are. You do. Do you know what you're going to do? I mean, are you going to hold them out? Or?
All right, as of yesterday in practice, every player that we have on the roster was in practice. The only player that wasn't able to go is Austin Wiley, because he's been injured. And we expect him to be back in about 10 days to 2 weeks. So as of right now, everybody is out there.
If you were playing a game tomorrow, then they would all be available?
We're not playing a game tomorrow. When I left campus today, they were all able to be in practice. That's where we are right now.
Is this an issue that's maybe best left to law enforcement with the more powers that they've got rather than the NCAA?
I can't comment on that.
You said you couldn't talk to players. If they had questions or concerns, who would you refer them to at the university?
Say that again?
You said you couldn't talk to players about it.
Correct.
If they had questions or concerns, who could they talk to at the university? Did you refer them to somebody in the department, or what if they had concerns?
To my understanding, nobody at the university beyond our initial meeting is allowed to talk to the players about this ongoing investigation.
Is that frustrating not be able to give reassurances to people then?
My players and our families, we're pretty close. And so, but I do think they understand the importance and the complexity and the need to just focus on other things right now. And so we try not to let it be frustrating, because we got a lot of work to do to get the team ready. And it's just, we're best off at this point to let the process run.
What sense do you have, Bruce, if any, that when this thing will wrap up, when a resolution will happen?
I don't know. Obviously our season is approaching, and we've got an exhibition game on the 2nd of November. We play on the 10th against Norfolk State in our opener, and so I would imagine as we continue over the next few weeks, we'll have more information and perhaps have some more clarity.
This
advise your younger players when they're getting ready to go to that professional stage of their life? They might meet some people who have differing agendas. How do you advise them, how to steer clear of certain people?
Again, I think because of our situation right now, at this time, I can't comment on those kind of things. I hope you understand.
Bruce, you lost one of your top recruits already because of the investigation. How are you going to go about recruiting the rest of the season?
Well, try to be as business as usual. We don't have any seniors, and so this 2018 class was not going to be a big class for us, and so we understand that the challenges that we're facing. The program, the foundation of the program is really strong. Every year I've been at Auburn, by virtue of our roster, it's been a complete rebuild. And one of the things I'm really proud about, even while we've been rebuilding, we've graduated 17 out of 18 guys. And we've done a lot of really good things as far as the culture of Auburn basketball. We are now competitive. And I don't know that's where we want to be. And you got to be competitive first before you can actually win. Last year we won 18 games. It was the second winning season in 14 years at Auburn. We returned 73% of our scoring. Last year I was the only team in the country with 4 freshmen who led us in scoring, and they're all back. And so we feel like we're in a different position now than we've been. We think that the lessons learned from a year ago. We were 11-2 in the non-conference last year. And I'm very, very proud of that. I've always been a coach that wore the SEC on his sleeve from the standpoint of whether I was at Tennessee or at Auburn. And when we could win that SEC Big 12 Challenge game at TCU, a team that won the NIT, that may have been maybe one of the bigger upsets in that night. And Auburn managed to pull that off on the road, which allowed us to not let the Big 12 beat us in that series. And at the time, we were actually up 5-2 when that game concluded, had a chance to win the series, which was big for the beginning of the credibility of the SEC. Then, of course, Kentucky and Florida and South Carolina took it to another level. And we knew that our league was going to be really good this year. I mean, we think that there are 13 or 14 teams that are talking about maybe making the NCAA tournament this year. I don't know when that's ever happened. And so we were maybe a year ahead of schedule. So we were proud of the fact that we won at UConn. We beat Oklahoma on a neutral site. We talked about TCU. So Auburn didn't let the league down from that standpoint as far as our non-conference. We just weren't experienced enough, tough enough, physical enough, couldn't end plays defensively enough to win in the SEC like I would have liked to have. We won 7 games, but it wasn't. I thought we left 3 or 4 games out there on the table. We had some leads. We had some pretty good double-digit leads in the second half, maybe 3 or 4 of them in games that we did not win. And I'll take responsibility for it, but that just tells you how close we are.
Bruce, along those lines, how frustrating is it to be now on the cusp of this season that is, you said this summer, like this should be an NCAA tournament team. We should go to the postseason. You have all the pieces to break through, and then to have this other outside stuff, this other worry, concern, question about your program.
So therefore you just take all that and you just focus it onto the basketball court. And that's what we're doing. Our kids have practiced really well. They practice really hard, and I think their attitudes are extremely positive. So, at this moment right now, we're sitting in a position to still be competitive.
You've whipped up a lot of enthusiasm for the from the fans. I'm wondering, with all this going on, the investigation, what sense do you have of maybe the fans that you're losing some steam there?
Our fans have been great. Auburn family has been really, really strong. We ranked 3rd in the league last year in percentage of attendance behind Kentucky and Florida. About 91% of the people that actually bought tickets were actually in their seats for Auburn basketball last year. And we have sold out of season tickets. We did give season ticket holders the opportunity if they wanted to get their money back and not have their seats. We gave them that opportunity, and we lost less than a couple hundred seats, and we've sold them since. So I think
You're
the
sold
fan.
out again?
We are probably sold out of season tickets. We probably still have some individual game tickets available, but we will sell out our first game against Norfolk State, and then we'll sell out that's the Friday night before we play Georgia in football, and I feel very, very good about the support.